Okay, hi, it's Mike with my incredibly long COVID here. I just wrote these instructions up and thought I'd just go through them really quickly so you can see them. So the idea is what happens, how can kids turn things in Google Classroom? So I have my teacher account open over here, and I've got a kind of a temporary classroom with only one student attached. In fact, the one student that's attached is actually a fake account that I've made up as a student. So you'll see me logged in as a student in a minute. If I want to make an assignment, I like going to classwork. I do create. I can create an assignment. I can say really important assignment um, and give some kind of instructions. Blah blah blah. Now, when I give this to the kids, they have a couple of options. If I don't attach anything, one of their options is they could just, when they're done, they can just hit submit. In fact, let me just do that. I'm going to make this graded, and where's my? There it is. So, okay, so I'm going to jump over to my student account, which I've got open in a different browser. Okay, so this is, let me update it. And sometimes they will have to update it. So Control R is refresh on most computers. And you will see, oh yeah, really important. So I did this thing. So they open this up and they see, oh, okay, those incredibly specific instructions. And the option they have over here is to add or create some work or just mark as done. And that's just a way that like they can say, I've seen it. There was nothing that you told me to attach or, um, but that is one option. Just mark as done. That may be even an expectation you want to set with kids if they just mark things as done. Maybe there's some instructions up here that like, can you attach that screenshot from yesterday or a picture that you took or a document that you've already created, in which case they can click on add or create. So I'll just pretend maybe that was the instructions. So I can click on add or create, and maybe I've got something in my Google Drive already that I maybe have done previously. And let me just do, let's see, miscellaneous text. I'll attach that. And this gives it to them. And what's interesting about it, they've changed this a little bit. It actually fixes the permissions, which you may or may not know about, but it used to be a big issue. So when they turn that into me, I'm going to be able to read that, and in fact, and edit it even. And all they can do at that point is look at it, because when they turn it in, they are officially kind of turning it over to me. So if they click turn in now, turn in. And so those are two of our options. Don't attach anything, just hit mark as done, or actually attach something because maybe some instructions said to attach something, and then turn it in. If they don't turn it in, I don't know what'll happen. I think it'll just disappear when they leave the page. So back in my teacher view, if I go back into this thing, oh, I can see, oh, my one student has turned something in. If I had other students who hadn't done anything yet, it would leave it as blank. It would also say turned in if they had just marked as done. So if I go into that assignment, you will see there it is. I can open that up. I can edit it. I actually can say, hey, this looks lousy, or I didn't want a stats sheet. I wanted a document. So one of your options is you could actually, you could send it back to them. You could return it back to them and say, wrong document, or whatever they happen to do. So that is an option for you to do. And then the other thing, which is actually what I typically do. So the first two things, sometimes kids will mark them done. Now I got to remember where I am. Okay, so this is, okay, still in teacher mode. I'm in teacher mode. I'm going to create another assignment. And I'm going to say new assignment, right. Short story beats. Now, I hate the way that kids name things, every crazy thing, and then they never put their name in the document, even though I can figure it out. It's a pain for me. So I like hitting create. I'm going to create a blank document. I may or may not put some instructions in there. I usually do. Instructions, oops, in the header though, don't want it there. Sorry. It'll be 10 seconds longer than it should be now. Okay. Do this. You can erase the instructions when you are done. I actually do that a lot of times. Now, I can call this whatever, short story. Now, this is going to name it right. Now, the beautiful thing is about this is when they get it, it's going to put their name in there too, which I love. All right, so that's kind of a template for them to go back to my instructions. Right now, they can just view this, and then they could make a copy of it, but they're going to screw it up. They often do. So I like to make a copy for each student. Automatically puts one in everybody's folder to start with. This hasn't changed, but it will. And so now, let's see, I'm not going to make this worth any points. And if I wanted to give it a due date, I could say, okay, this is due in a week or so. So I click assign. And now they've got this. So let me go back to my student view so you can see what that looks like. I'm going to go back to my student view. Okay, now I'm a student again. Okay, there's my assignment. And short story, please. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, I open that up. Now this is my student is called Mike Taylor too, so don't confuse. So this is me as a student. I could rename it. Hopefully they won't, because now when they turn it back into me, it was a dark and stormy night. That's a great short story. Okay, they can turn it back into me. And when they do, it's going to appear exactly with that name in the Google Classroom. Let me go back in teacher mode. If I go here, you can see this person turned it in. If I go to it, you can see it there. I can open it back up. I can make comments in here if I wanted to. I can return it to the person if I wanted to. I can add private comments. A lot of things I can do, but basically it's all nice and neat and organized. And the other nice part is if I got multiple students, I can tell who turned it in and who didn't turn it in so far. Granted, turning it in doesn't mean they've done anything, but it means they've at least meant to give it back to you. Last thing I want to show you, this little button right here is awesome because this is where everything goes. So if I open that up, this is the folder with all of the assignments in it, and it's just for that one class. So if you've got multiple sections, you'll have a different folder. But that I'm going to show you where that button is again because it's really super helpful. So I'm in the assignment, this folder out there, open folder for assignments, so you can see them all together. Because sometimes I think it's a little easier to deal with them when they're in a folder versus they're all laid out here. I think that's plenty. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to stop recording if I can find that button.